Yeah, I mean, a clean sheet against Manchester United, never easy, even though this is an off-colour Manchester United at the moment. Still, it's something to be very proud of. And they hardly looked like scoring, did they? They marshalled them really well. And when you're going forward, when you're playing well going forward as well, that takes a lot of the pressure off your defence. You know, they can keep the ball, they dribble, they do all things in the final third, and all of a sudden it makes the night a little bit more comfortable for you. So every different area of the pitch is working for Palace at the moment.
Suffice to say, though, Manchester United helped them with the way they conceded those goals tonight.
Yeah, they did, and I think Michael made a good point there. Manchester didn't really look like scoring tonight. I'm trying to think of chances. They had a couple of headers from Casemiro, but that was about it. But again, this was all about positional play. We did that. I did this at half-time. Eriksen pitch, Mainu not having enough desire. And then when Eriksen makes that mistake, Casemiro, I reckon that could have happened 4 or 5 times where Casemiro sits down and somebody skips past him. And look, the lad's not a centre-half, and it's tough to have a bit of a popper who's done so much for the game. He's a fantastic footballer. And it's difficult watching a few of these, actually, because you do feel they're coming towards the end. They shouldn't really be at a club of this stature now, really. I think the next few years going forward, they'll be somewhere else. United look leggy. They look like an oldish team. There wasn't really much legs about them. There wasn't really much positional sense about them tonight, which again was worrying. As I said, the 2 midfield players for Crystal Palace, they hardly moved. I can't think of them being in the opposition box. And you saw United. So Eriksen's up here, Mainu's down here, Mason. I'm not quite sure where Mason Mount was playing. Again, it's difficult to be critical of Mason Mount because he's just not played any football. But I think that comes down to coaching. You saw United could not really, in open play, they couldn't create chances. They've got a centre forward there, Man United. It makes your blood boil that centre forwards, man. They're not even getting chances. Rasmus Højlund, I've watched him the last 7 or 8 games. I know he scored 1 goal. He doesn't get a chance in a game. I asked Michael before, do you think if you played in this team, do you think you'd get chances? The answer was no. I think he would, because there's still quality. You think of Christian Eriksen, what a player. Mainly, we know he's a good footballer. These players, but
Scholes, the manager, about a week ago said they're the most dynamic team in the UK or something. Came out with a quote about a week ago saying, we're great to watch, we're a dynamic team, and all the rest of it after the game against Burnley. I mean, I don't know what game I'm watching. They suck the life out of viewers. If you're a Manchester United fan watching this, there's nothing that you can cling on to, is there? There's nothing. There's not a player. There's no sparks. There's no chinks of light where you think, yeah, okay, well, I'll be a bit more, bit more perseverance, a little bit more patient, and I can see something happening here. It just feels like it's getting worse and worse and worse, and eventually you just can't take any more. I'm sure you can't if you're a Manchester United fan.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure the meaning of dynamic is what it means. I think when you watch that, I presume for a neutral watching, it can be quite entertaining because they do create a lot of chances, or what they haven't tonight, but in games they have created a lot of chances. The big problem is they look like they could concede 5 or 6 in every single game, and 5 or 6 is being quite nice. It could be a lot more. They're conceding so many chances. It's so easy to play against. And look, where do you go from there? We keep saying about there's probably 6 players who are missing, who would be playing, but still, that team that is out there tonight, that performance, as we all know, it's unacceptable. It's sad. It's disappointing to watch. But what do you expect from a lot of players who are coming to the end? Again, Casemiro.
He's at fault for virtually every goal, isn't he? That last one he was at fault for. That one he's at fault for.
The goalkeeper as well, Michael. The goalkeeper.
The ball goes in the middle of the goal virtually here. It's incredible. I just don't know where there's any positives.
So where? I don't know what you put that down to when you've got a man with such experience, won what he's won in the game, and
this is the best angle. This virtually goes in the middle of the goal. I mean, the goalkeeper doesn't even get anywhere near it. I'm just failing to see any positives at all about this at the moment.
Well, let's see if Erik ten Hag's got any, because here is the post-match reaction of the Manchester United manager.
Erik, not for the first time, Manchester United this season have been on the end of a disappointing result. But how disappointing a performance was that for you tonight from your team?
Oh, it's clear and it's obvious. This is underperforming, and we didn't act how we want to do it, and it's by far not good enough. So yeah, we are very disappointed by this, and the fans were all the way behind us, and we should have keep fighting like the fans did.
It's not the first time either you've had to stand in front of me or some of my other colleagues and answer these questions, but what do you put it down to when you say your team is not good enough? Is that the players not adapting to what you're asking for them? Is it a lack of belief from them? How do you assess it?
So there are always reasons. Everyone see our back line, and there we have huge problems. But yeah, in the end of the day, we have to deal with it, and then we should have done better than as we did.
Looking at the first goal that you conceded tonight, your two central midfielders are ahead of the ball. Is that a position that you're asking them to take up, or is that something that they're doing of their own initiative?
There were 5 players, and such a goal that shouldn't happen. And because we really give clear instructions how we should defend this, and they didn't bring it on the pitch, and we got hammered. But there was one issue, but also on the left side, there were 2 players doubling up on one player, and so that's very poor defending.
I think it would be wrong to single out individual players. You're clearly making it clear that it's a team responsibility. But when you look at a player of the stature of Casemiro and you see at this moment how he appears to be struggling, what do you put that down to?
As you say, you can't put this to one player. It's a team performance. As you say, the throw-in. And when you concede the first goal, that shouldn't happen. And that's his team. Because we don't follow their rules, we don't adapt to a slightly different situation to organize, to keep control in that situation. 5 players over the ball and they have a throw-in, it's not possible.
We spoke before the game about your ambitions of Europe and how that is so important to this club. How damaging has tonight's result been?
Yeah, we know that, especially when you come to the end. But still, we have 9 points to play, and we have to fight for the 9 points.
You'll be aware better than anybody, you're very experienced, this result will make headlines all around the world for the wrong reasons from your perspective. Do you still believe that you can turn this team around, given whatever help you can get, given a performance like that tonight?
Oh, I will keep fighting, and I prepared the team in the best way I could do. It was not good enough, by far not good enough. I have to take the responsibility for that, but I will find energy and I will prepare them for Sunday game.
Energy. He said they're underperforming. These figures from the season more than emphasise that, Paul. I mean, it's quite damning, really, for Manchester United. Record low points, record high defeats, record high goals conceded, and as you mentioned earlier, record high shots faced.
That sums it up, Steve. What can you say? What can you say to it? The one thing I took from the interview was that players aren't carrying out the instruction he's given to them. So there has to be a big problem there straight away. Look, 13 defeats in one season for Man United.
It's 35 years since that happened.
Yeah, it's why they are in the league. It's just not far from good enough. So easy to play against. I think that's the biggest worry.
Difficult night for Paul to watch his former club, but we appreciate you being with us. Thank you very much indeed. Another frustrating night for Erik ten Hag. A very successful one for Crystal Palace, but for United, the problems are mounting from the 3 of us. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Leave it at hands covering the mouth. Do me a favour, will you?
I mean, I've said it for a long time. You know, I've sat here for quite a while. I've been saying that Ten Hag is just not the right man for this job. I've been saying it for ages and ages. He simply cannot manage the team next season. But I almost wonder now, they've got a cup final and they've got a few important games that could mean European football next year or not. And at some point, you've got to make a decision, right, well, there's nothing. They're going to get absolutely hammered by Manchester City. They're going to get annihilated. In fact, Arsenal will smash them to bits at Old Trafford. Newcastle will probably beat them, and I wouldn't even fancy them going to Brighton either. They might not get anything out the rest of the season if they're playing like that. And I just wonder, with so much at stake, even though it's only for 4 games, I wonder whether the board might just have to try to do something here and now and be quite radical about it. I'm not sure. But he simply cannot manage this team next season. He's not good enough. I've thought it for ages. He's just not good enough to manage Manchester United.
And would a performance in the way they've lost tonight like that just even more fuel to people's opinions like Michael to that fire?
Yeah, look, it's been a difficult one, I suppose. I know Michael said he's felt it for a long time, and the signs have been there that it's going to be difficult for him to do it next year. But that tonight almost felt like a final nail in the coffin, really. There's a lack of know-how from the team, a lack of effort, which is the big disappointing thing. Going to a team like Crystal Palace, look, don't get me wrong, they're a good team, they're doing well, but whatever situation Manchester United, they should be not going there and losing 4-0. It felt like the end. Now, if it is the end, I'm not sure, because what did it do? You know, what's out there at the minute? I've always felt for a while that he might get another year and work for a club that is steadied down, calmed down a little bit by the new owners. But it just doesn't feel like it now, because I felt, who's there to replace him? Who is out there? There wasn't really anybody. With Thomas Tuchel saying he's leaving Bayern Munich, I think doesn't create a bigger problem for him, because I think the problems are there anyway. I think it's quite plain to see that it feels like borrowed time, and I'm watching that performance tonight. Sometimes you get them performances where you think this is the end, and that almost felt like it. I remember Ole Gunnar at Watford away. I think it
did have a similar look to it tonight.
It felt very similar to me. It just fell at the end. But what do you do for the last 4 games? Michael said, you've got a big cup final. You can't see where a win's coming from. You look at the last 3 fixtures, even before tonight, looking at the game, you can't see where a win.
They've won 1 in 7.
That was against Sheffield United, the team that have been relegated. They can't beat Burnley at home.
Got to try something different.
Anything? Steve McClaren?
Yeah. We've played under Steve McClaren.
Yes.
He's coached us. There is no way, and we had a discussion before, there is no way that his fingerprints are anywhere near that team. He is a brilliant, brilliant coach, and that team is not being coached at all. No way. No way. There's no way Steve McClaren is the first team coach.
Yeah, he's not touching that team. I don't think.
He's brilliant.
The manager must not be letting him touch that team, because everyone thinks we were a great team that attacked everybody and went at people. Sometimes we've played against better teams. Steve McClaren put sessions on to make sure you stopped other teams, getting the distances right, getting your angles right, especially in the centre midfield, all across the midfield. And he has got no impression on that team.
As I've played under.
He's the best coach I ever had.
He's a brilliant, brilliant coach. There is no way on earth, Steve, I'm telling you, that he's got anything to do with coaching that team.
No.
It's impossible. Because that team is absolutely clueless right the way through it. Right the way through it. There's not one thing that I think that works in that team. I don't rate anything about it. Anything. And Steve McClaren is a top operator. And I can only think he's there, you know, there's other people coaching the first team and he's just a bystander.
So you'd be quite happy if Ten Hag went for the last 4 games, including the cup final, Steve McClaren lead the team?
For 4 games, yeah. Well, anything, they're going to get smashed out the ballpark by every team they playing like that today. Manchester City are going to demoralise them at Wembley in front of millions of people. It's embarrassing. That's just embarrassing how they're playing. Something's got to change. I know it's going to change in the summer, but it's got to change. I think it's got to change now. There's too many big games. This could, you know, this is European football next year. This is a trophy at the end of the year.
There's not actually that many bad players there, is there?
No,
do you know what I mean? It looks like
that team into
they're
a lot
not being
better.
coached when it comes to being the manager's fault. We had times when I remember Michael Carragher and Darren Fletcher playing centre-half at times for us, 3 or 4 times. We lose centre-half. So what? It gives you the bigger challenge, you know what I mean? Say, go on, right, come on, we're more determined, but they're just not. It looks like the fight's gone out of them.
Welcome along to another edition of Final Word, the penultimate Monday night football of the season. I'm Michael A. We finally got him on. Our good friend, the United legend Paul Scholes, is with us, very apt as well, because, of course, his former club were playing in the Monday night football, which we'll have reaction to shortly at Selhurst Park. But it was a difficult watch throughout the evening, and from this moment, 12 minutes in, Paul.
Yep, difficult night, Steve, as you know, but United are for the taking. We know they had a lot of players missing, especially the back four is really decimated. Casemiro was seen in at centre-half, which was a really difficult night for him against a really good Crystal Palace team, and thought they were well worthy of the victory tonight.
Yeah, probably the worst time to play Crystal Palace at the moment. Their front three all fit and firing. Mateta here with the second goal. Very good strike. Manchester United certainly could have done more to avoid a couple of these goals, but good play as well from Crystal Palace. They were really good tonight. You can just feel the expectation in the crowd. The new manager's getting a good tune out of them. They're confident, they've got a fit squad. And that, together with Manchester United underperforming, resulted in a bit of a rout, I'd say, Steve. 4-0. And it was nothing more or nothing less than they deserved. I mean, it was quite a true reflection of the game. Casemiro was at fault for quite a few of the goals tonight, including this final one. And it wasn't just Casemiro. I thought the goalkeeper could have done better here. Maybe here it looks like a great finish, and it was a good finish, but this angle shows it virtually went in the centre of the goal. I thought the goalkeeper, Onana, should have done a little bit better. So, very poor night for Manchester United, but what a fantastic night for the Eagles.
Yeah, I think Michael summed it up perfectly. Manchester United were poor all night long, Casemiro especially. Playing in that defensive role where you make mistakes and your lack of mobility really gets found out. I thought they might have half got away with it, Crystal Palace. It's quite a tight pitch. Johnny Evans as well. But we saw Johnny Evans as well for the second goal, I think it was. Also got done. He dived in as well. So, look, it was an all-round poor performance. Not just the centre-half, not just the back four, not just the goalkeeper. The midfield were poor as well. The centre-forward didn't really get a chance. Can't remember Garnacho or Ante create anything. So, all round, really bad night for Manchester United, and we'll have to see how they recover from this. OK, we'll analyse it and get reaction in a moment. But first of all, here is the Manchester United boss, Erik Ten Hag.
You've been asked this many times, and I hope you'll understand the question, but given the run of form you're on, given where the club is, and you're still in a cup final, which potentially you could win, if you can get to the end of this season and have a summer, do you believe that you're the right person with the right people behind you to restore Manchester United's fortunes?
Absolutely. And if the right players are there, so available, we have a good squad. But we miss almost the whole back line, and then we have problems.
Well, we'll respond to that with Paul in a moment. But first of all, you want to go a little deeper into Manchester United contributing to the ease of which Palace scoring tonight. Yeah,
definitely. The first goal in particular from a throw-in. And if we just have a look at it here, I mean, the player that scores, Elise here, is in a position. If you said to somebody, the throw-in's going to go to him and he's going to run unchallenged and score a goal, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, Paul, you played in this position, in this central area. How would you have prevented this for starters?
It's very simple. Christian Eriksen has to be 10 yards deeper. If he's 10 yards deeper, everything stops. Now, I've heard people say possibly Mason Mount's ahead of the ball a little bit. I don't really agree with that. I don't think it matters that much about Mason Mount, because as you'll see in a minute if you roll it on, Mainoo's there as well. So they're your two centre midfield players. Mason Mount's the one there, and I don't mind that. But if Christian Eriksen goes back 10 yards, he stops that throwing straight away. Yeah. And that's, if you're broken on that way from a simple throw-in, that is coaching. That's where you should be. And I think the manager actually alluded it as well. They did not take the simple instruction I gave them. And that is just about being shaped. It's knowing the position and not letting anybody come in behind you. And also it's communication, because surely Casemiro can see him. Christian, drop back 10 yards. Simple. Everything stops.
Mainoo, you're happy front covering Mateta there? Because
I'm covering that point. Yeah, I'm
you
happy
look
with
at that.
Yeah,
that's the midfield three.
Yes.
Sorry, not that one. There he is.
I'm quite happy with that, Michael. Although I still think he's a little bit deep. I still think he can come up, and they're almost on a line.
Yeah.
Ericsson and Manu. Then it stops anything go. They're 5 yards apart from each other. The Christians just drop them 10 little yards, which makes a massive difference that stops that gap. And it's difficult then it's not difficult, it's impossible to get through and be allowed to do what he does after this.
Casemiro, of course, we've already mentioned that Ericsson is in the wrong place, but
Yes.
can Casemiro spot that earlier and actually squeeze into this and make sure he doesn't turn, stop it at source?
That's exactly what he has to do. First of all, Casemiro's wrong with lack of communication to tell Ericsson to be back in there. But once it's happened, can you just take it back a little bit, Mike?
Yep.
Sorry. As he's looking this way, so he's looking away from Casemiro, that's when Casemiro has to go there and stop it at source there. But he doesn't. He just lies on his backside, really, which he did three or four times tonight. And then it's Manu. Can Manu get his mate out of trouble? There's actually two mates in trouble. So he goes to do it. He looks like it. He almost stops there and gives up. That's ridiculous. That cannot happen. You have to go. You have to try and affect it somehow. Give him a little nudge. Try and get him off balance or something. Try and win the ball. Look, if you give a foul away, you give a foul away. But because Johnny Evans has got nowhere to go there. If Johnny Evans goes out to the ball, people say, yeah, he should be going out to the ball, stop the shot. But if he goes out, it's a little simple pass into one of his wide players, and they probably score. So, look, it's a little bit of a scruffy finish in the end, but give Crystal Palace credit. I thought they were brilliant.
We were, and let's listen to the man who constructed that plan, Oliver Glasner, talking to us live from Selhurst Park. Oliver, very well done. What a result for you. How pleasing was the way everything came off tonight for you?
Yeah, thank you very much. So, I think first half we didn't play really so good. We were very efficient. Yeah, I saw also now the first goal, and the second one was what we wanted to do, to get a lot of pressure, but we gave them too many passes through our lines, and so it was an equal game, but we were very efficient, and we made some adaptations at halftime, and in second half, we did it really well. So we got a lot of confidence, got a lot of chances, scored nice goals, but I think over the whole 90 minutes we can do it better.
OK, but Paul and Michael looking at the middle of Manchester United's defence there, that must have been something you looked at tonight. You knew that wasn't going to be their strongest first choice area.
Yes, we talked about it before. Man United, they struggle with a lot of injuries, and we know that maybe they have also, we have an advantage with our pace in the offense. So that's why we wanted Michael Olise and Eze also in the middle of the pitch, so that we have this. It's very difficult to defend them in 1-1 situations when they can turn and go face to face on you. So it was always to find this place, the space in the pocket. So this we also did not so well in first half, much better in second half, and then it's difficult to defend them when they come with the ball on their feet, and because they go left, they go right, they're very quick legs, and so we know that maybe here we have an advantage, and the players did it really well.
Oliver, it's Michael Owen here. Congratulations on tonight's result. I just wanted to know, as an attacking player myself, what have you done to the attacking players, in particular Mateta? Because since you've managed him, his level has gone to a different stratosphere.
Yeah, thanks. The players, you know it. The players have to do everything themselves. So, we support them, we encourage them, and also this situation where he scored the goal, we said yes. When you have the 1-1 situation, take it, and maybe you lose twice or three times the ball, but in the next time you are one in front of the keeper. He had the 1-1 against Evans. We know that we have an advantage with the pace, and then he scored many goals, and the finish is amazing. And this is the confidence that he has.
And you've got a real good, strong three attacking players there. How important is it for you next year, because it looks like you're building something pretty special, to keep these three together?
Oh yes, I'm really sure that the Crystal Palace will do everything that to keep all the players. But we know in football, and now we have beginning of May, so you never know how the squad is looking like when the next season starts. But they are amazing players. But again, we saw now Michael's second goal. It was Daniel Munoz made a lot of pressure on Casemiro, winning the ball back. on the goal line of Man United after we lost it. So, and then he is in the position where he can show his quality, his finish. And we talked about it after the Fulham game because he was not so pleased with himself because he had 3-4 shots. He always hit the keeper or the shot was blocked. And then we said maybe you try it in the near post, and he scored.
And Oliver, just finally, I mean, you arrived at Palace were 5 points above the drop zone. They're 17 now. Your return. How much are you enjoying the Premier League and coaching Crystal Palace?
Of course, we have some great results, and it's not so long ago. I'm very humble because I know before the Liverpool game we couldn't expect to win there, and we were 5 points above relegation, and we got many players back after injuries, and this helps. We have now much more opportunities also to make substitutions. Like Jeffrey Schlupp scored the equalizer at Fulham last week. So it makes it easier for us when we have most of the players fit in the squad. And every win, every good performance increases the confidence. And so we want to get 2 more wins until the end of the season, and then let's see what happens.
Well, very well done tonight. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.